So you guys will need a band or dumbbell. Do you guys have both, or what are you guys working with?
Yep.
I have both.
I have
Yeah,
both.
both.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over
I
both
miss,
really.
by the way, I miss watching Lation braid her hair.
Thanks, Daddy.
Uh-huh.
It's getting so long, I haven't been able to cut it.
I know. Mine's in a true ponytail now.
Wow.
That's why I'm wearing a hat. I just shove it all.
I can join you guys.
Oh, nice, nice, very nice.
All right, I'll go grab the stuff. I'll be right back. Go ahead and get started.
Okay, so Saturdays, I'm going over all the movements that we're gonna need for Tuesday and Thursday in the following week. So it's definitely more about learning how to do it the right way. So if you guys are here, which you are, we can go over some of the finer points. So if you guys have those issues, then other people have the same issues. So still feel like a workout, but definitely we're gonna break down each technique a little bit more. And then you're gonna see different styles of workouts with the same movements Tuesday and Thursday. So whether it's an EMOM or more sets or less sets. So that's what we're doing right now. I got the warm-up movements, the actual exercise movements, and then there's about 6 things. So this should take about 40 minutes or so. So I want you guys to grab a pair of dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, then you can use bands, and I'll talk about how to do that in a second. So let's get started.
How heavy?
Light, very light, if
Okay.
possible. Start with 1. So we're gonna go over the Terry's flex and then something called like a gymnastics flex. So I want you to start with 1. If you guys have a band, you just step on it and pull on one side. But we're gonna do a Terry's flex with one side. So from here, I want you to really pull the shoulders as wide as they can go. And then try to flex down, both shoulders. So it's important that just because you're holding one dumbbell, I don't want you to just kind of lean into it. So pull both shoulders down and flex. And then your goal is just to flex as hard as you can, trying to get your pec and your Terry's to turn on, okay? So a lot of us are good at getting the pec to turn on here, but I feel nothing in the back because I'm rounded. So I don't want just the pec on. I want the pec to stay on, and then I want to posture up, pull the shoulder back until I feel something back here. So you just take time just flexing. If you like to count, just to keep your mind busy, count to like a 10-second flex. So from here, I'm trying to flex the shoulder down and then pull my shoulder back as far as I can. So the trick is you can only go as far as your pec will stay on. So if I flex down, I'm pulling my shoulder back, the pec can't just turn off. And if people only have bands, if you're watching this later, you step on it. Like this is the band, I'm gonna step right in the middle. And then I'm just gonna pull on the band on one side right here. So that could give you tension. So I could choke down for more weight. And then now try the other side. So the goal is just to jumpstart those muscles, trying to flex the pec and then pull the shoulder back. I always talk about everyone starts at like a negative here. So pulling your shoulder back doesn't necessarily mean you're going into this position. You're just getting out of this kind of rounded shoulder position to like neutral, okay? So even though you're pulling your shoulder back, your elbow is still out, your shoulders are still down and in. Don't let your shoulder open up this way. So if you guys look at your own screen, if you can, or maybe not, but your elbow is, the inside of the elbow right here is opened up. You have to, for this Terry flex, it's really important to turn that elbow out to the side. So you want the elbow to be pointed out to the side because you can really flex the lats or the Terry's this way in the pec. If I were to rotate my elbow out this way like this, then your shoulder is going to open up, which means your pec isn't going to be on as much. So you have to turn the elbow out and then flex the pec in. So the Terry's position will be like this wide.
Oh.
So yeah, use your own Zoom video, but if you're at profile and then you don't see the point of the elbow, You have to turn that out and then push back. The reason we do that is because in our Olympic lifts and barbell work, our elbow is in this position, and then we sweep back. Because if you sweat back on a barbell like this, then you're arched and overextended. You guys feel that? So what we're doing today is we're going left arm, flexing pec, keeping the elbow pointed out, and sweeping back. And then we're gonna go both arms and then try to get tight and do a perfect Terry's flex. So it looks like, Johnny, you're still like here a little bit when you push back. Yeah, you really have to imagine your shoulders like a screw. You have to turn that sucker down and in. And then push back. Same with your right one, Leslie. It looks like you're here.
This one?
Yeah, so you got to really tighten that down more.
Roll those knuckles are not important.
Yeah, knuckles under is always good, but the primary. So Crystal, you're over here like this. See how the inside of the elbow? I want you to turn your shoulders down and in, so then you're hiding the inside of the elbow. The elbows are pointed out to the side. So you want the shoulder to flex the pec like this. Like you're punching to the ground. Like you're punching down into the ground. And then when you punch down to the ground, you're just kind of posturing up to work the Terry's.
I feel it in my pec, but I also feel it here. Is that okay?
So remember the same thing that Joan felt last time? You're using too much tricep like this.
Uh-huh.
You're keeping your pec tight, but your grip is actually really relaxed.
Okay,
So when you sweep back with your Terry's, it's not a tricep extension.
Got it.
So that's why we're spending more time on the finer points, because when we start adding this into workouts, people have this little instructional to do it. So again, the shoulders are tightened up like a screw like this, down and in, and then keeping your arms relaxed, you pull back as far as you can without the shoulder opening up. Okay? That's very important for lifting, because when we lift, whether it's a deadlift with a rounded upper back, you're pushing back this way. You should never tighten up on a barbell like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's super important to have all those muscles turned on. So I want you guys to do a full flex.
Yeah, I can feel
combo. We're going to go left side with one dumbbell or a band. So flex as hard as you can. Try to breathe while you flex, because I was doing this earlier, and I tend to hold my breath when I'm flexing, which doesn't help with movement. So flex for about 10 seconds, switch sides, 10 seconds, and then flex both of them together with two dumbbells.
So do you feel it a little bit more in your triceps too then?
Yeah, so if you feel it in the tricep, you guys are gripping too tight. I want you to relax the arm, and then push back with the back muscles and your pec, but your arm is relaxed. That means you're going to train the bigger muscles and then not take over with our strong triceps, because we use those more often.
They're sweeping back with the Terry's kind of thing, right?
Exactly, with the pec staying on.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can feel my pec getting tighter as you sweep back if you're
And it's
in
just-
the right position.
Exactly. So most people think just shoulder joint position, which is fine if you want to use that. So the shoulder has to be cinched down and in like this. And then now when you sweep back, it stays rotated in. You just can't let this open up, because then you go all in your back and your traps.
Hey, Johnny, did you get that dumbbell from the 70s?
Yeah, man. I got it from Richard Simmons.
Did they actually screw on?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got the little
That's gnarly.
add like the 2.5s or whatever.
That's vintage. All right, so the second movement is, I call it a gymnastics flex or a gymnasty flex, just to give it a cool name to remember. You guys can use same thing, one dumbbell or a band. You're gonna keep your arms straight. You don't have to hyperextend. Like I have hypermobility in my elbow, so this is straight, okay? This is too much, right? I know, it looks gross. But when you guys do any gymnastic movements like a handstand push-up, a planche, a burpee, and then especially handstand push-ups, you have to load forward. And also, like, you probably maybe have felt like a bicep strain before, or you've seen other people in class have that because they do kipping pull-ups. When you're doing kipping pull-ups, you should be anchoring through the short head bicep and the pec. And that's why this is important for all upper body gymnastic movements. So what we're gonna do is train the bicep to work with the pec. You have the dumbbell here, straight arm. Start down by your side. You're gonna keep that same shoulder position down and in. And then you're gonna bring the dumbbell up. My arm is straight. And then my pec is on. You can even feel your trap. So from here, if I'm shrugged up, my trap is on. And then my pec isn't on as much. So I gotta keep that shoulder down. So you guys are doing a straight arm flex like this. And you're using all the muscles required for body weight gymnastic movements. So again, when you're going straight up this way, I think it's a better angle. You're just holding, trying to push to make sure the pec is like fully flexed. And then if I kept my shoulder down and in, this should be squishy-ish. If I don't focus on that,
It's like it's never squish.
I know, but it's still like it's kind of like it's not fully flexed. And then when I don't think about it, I just come straight up, the pec is completely turned off.
That's spicy.
How long do we hold it?
Right now, just go left and right, the sequence, just to make sure you're doing it properly. And then we're going to add actually like a movement to it.
So you want the pec on or off?
On.
Okay.
So because this is the important part of the bicep for all of our movements, the short head. And then if you don't train it, when you need it, like for a kip, that's why people have that bent arm kip. And then they're trying to use the other part. That's where they strain it. And same thing for gymnastic movements. If you can't shift forward in that plank slide, it's because this bicep and the pec's not working together.
My lats are cramping too.
Your lats too? So
Yeah.
make sure you're not opening up too far like this. You got to keep that hollow position in gymnastics, right? Core tight, down and in, and then flex up. So if you start to feel it more in your back, you're doing this.
Well, I mean, I don't feel it more in my back. I'm just saying I feel it in my back.
Is it more like riblets too?
It's more lower, I guess. I don't know. It's on. It's not like crazy cramping.
Just for you to test it out when you're going with this hold. Remember, same thing. When you're here, don't open up the elbow too much. Keep that kind of closed in.
Yeah.
Elbows closed in. And then try to touch your upper trap. See if you're still shrugging a little bit. And then you could do it without weight too, because some of you guys are already there. You're like, but the goal is just to make sure that pec stays on. You will feel your shoulders on and other muscles on as well. We're going to need this for later because one of the movements we're going to add a curl to it. But if you want to strengthen your upper body for body weight movements, then this is going to be the best bet.
So Mark, do we start in kind of that punch down position, then twist our hand as we bring it up?
Correct. So you're down and in right here like this, like a pteryx flex, and then you're going to come up this way. So if you stand like this and come up, you're going to be out of position already.
But you want your palm facing up?
It's going to be at like a 45.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It's not like a hammer grip. It's not like this.
Okay.
Same type of idea. If you grip too damn tight, you're probably going to just pull that sucker up to your ears. So yes, your pec is tight. Your arm is just, the bicep's there to hold this position, not to curl it up.
Where's your bicep?
So
Up to a 45.
So now that you got left and right, try both of them.
Where for my trap?
Remember, tension zone. So if I have two dumbbells,
I know.
I'm only going to go as far down and up in tension. So if this is it, that's fine. If I go any higher, I feel it in my neck. So I could just stay from here to here.
Started.
Perfect. Okay.
I guess if you don't have any dumbbell like the other day, you could push in through your palms and just go straight up. And same with the Terry's flex. If people don't have dumbbells or bands, they can just push into their side. That seems to work with elbows out.
Oh. Snap crackle.
So then if you guys don't have weight, it's okay. That's the benefit of these at-home FixFit things. You could do it with just body weight. All right, so hopefully you guys are a little more warm. So that was Terry's flex, working on both sides, and then the full flex, and then it was the gymnastics flex. So now we're gonna do the first part, which is an Arnold press. So this is gonna mimic the light bulb lat we do. So we're gonna do it without weight first. I want you guys to have imagine you have the barbell, and then I want you to support all of the weight of your arm. If you had weight, you're just gonna kind of keep it down into the lat. So from here, just like the Terry's flex, you should be able to anchor and pull down into something back here. So that might just take some time. So you're imagining you have weights and there's a stopping point because the muscles are on. If your muscles are off and you don't think about it when you hold a front rack, then it'll just come down to here. The dumbbells will just come down to here. So I want you to stop it with your muscles. Every single rep, on the bottom, it's not a rest position. Your lats should get tighter. And then on the way up, if you watch my elbows, it's just like the light bulb ladder, the Olympic lifts. I'm going to let my elbows drift back and push my head through. And then elbows come forward. So lats are tight here. And then middle of my back, my traps are tight here. So there's a significant change, like we talked about in Olympic lifting, from this support position to the catch position. So my shoulders are fully opening up from here to back here. So my elbows will really rotate forward and back. You're changing the muscles that are supporting the weight. So with dumbbells, this is supported. The muscles are stopping it. And then I push my head through. You'll see I'm completely opening up my chest. So from here, elbows are way in front here, supported in my lats, and then way back into my traps, middle of my shoulder blades. So try that out. If you guys have a band, you would only work one side at a time by stepping into it. But if that's all you got, that's no big deal. But try it out. So Leslie, you're more here with the support. Now you're better. You guys got to base posture up a little. Just like if the barbell's here for the jerk, you got to be wider. So don't hold it, start here. There should be no shoulder forward. And then once you're pressing, just drive your shoulders through, your head through. So your shoulders should go pretty much like flexed in and then opened all the way. Flexed in, open all the way. Because that's what an Arnold press is. If you guys have done it before, they just rotate in and out. But we just have a little more function behind it. There's a purpose for us. So I want you guys to do a set of 10 right here and make sure you don't cheat the negative because that second part of the lift is very important. So when you're here, you slowly absorb it into the lat like you're controlling a barbell. And then you press up and then slowly load the lat again. So don't just do this and let it crash on you. Go push through and hold and then try to load the lats. Perfect. Yep, just focus. Don't even focus on locking out. Focus on pushing your head through, squeezing the shoulder blades. Joan, on the way down, make sure you don't stay too far out. I want you to bring those elbows in with good posture. There you go. So on the way down, just because elbows go all the way out here, I need you to bring them back down to this postured up. Imagine you have a front rack. Okay, so we're going to superset this to get you a full feel of how it works. You guys are going to do 15 reps. 15 reps. And then after the 15th rep, you guys are going to hold both dumbbells and then flex a Terry's flex. Oh. Now, if you have heavier dumbbells, you're going to switch to that. So let's say I have 15s. I do my do my reps, and then right at the end, you're gonna hold for 30 seconds. Okay? If you have same dumbbells, then just use it, but let's try that out. So you guys are doing 15 Arnold presses right into a 30-second hold.
You're saying if we have heavier dumbbells, do the hold with heavier dumbbells?
Yep.
Okay.
Heavy-ish or heavy?
Like 30s?
Okay.
Heavy as possible. The reason I'm throwing in a Terry's flex after, because after you press a lot, your traps will be on. But the Terry's flex will give you a nice reset. Yeah, if you like, this is all, you know, it depends on what equipment you have, but it press as heavy as you can, hold, Terry's flex. But again, time under tension is more important. So even if you have tiny dumbbells or you're just using body weight, it's how hard you flex on this 30 seconds right here.
15's excessive.
Right? Because moving our arms will probably be too much. 30-second flex.
You move the timer.
Flex as hard as you can on both Terry's and pecs. Remember, you have to push back, elbows out.
Joan, where's E?
Sleeping.
Oh,
It's
and
so,
where's Shannon?
it's so early for people.
Where's Shannon? Well, hear me?
Is that 30 seconds-ish for you guys?
Yeah.
Not yet for me.
Okay, keep going.
Yep,
So that's a good set right there. We're gonna program that combo.
oh, that hurts.
Hurts so good. So I want you guys to take just for one set, because every side's different. Especially if you have a light dumbbell, if you don't have any dumbbell, you use one arm. But I want you guys to now, just as like a finisher, I want you to work on one side. See if you can create the same tension with one dumbbell. So you're doing the same Arnold press with one arm.
15 on each side?
Just just give 10 reps per side. If this is more for you, just like some reset time to work on one side to make sure your bar's not crooked, right? So you can still work on those imbalances at home. I think the biggest takeaway message for this is don't cheat the way down. Don't cheat the negative. You have to really flex the weight down. Row the weight down. Don't just let it drop on you. Remember our rules of engagement during the Tuesday, Thursdays. You're trying to get to that pump, to that failure, so go as heavy as you can as long as the right muscles are on. And then only start counting your reps when things start to burn.
It feels so much better doing both sides on the right side. My left side doesn't engage at all.
I know. So it's good to have a little bit of time just for the left side.
See, I'm the opposite. I like doing one side at a time because I can feel it more, each individually versus both.
Joan, it looks like, so some of you guys aren't moving the shoulders, and there's a pretty significant shift. So if my shoulders stayed in this position, my torso, that's not really what we're looking for. We want to start here where I'm kind of postured up like a bench press, and then I'm going to push my head through. So my shoulder is going to move a lot. There's a lot of motion on the shoulder because you're going to need both of those ranges for different types of shoulder movements. So think bench press, you got to go way back here. And then on top of an Olympic lift, you got to go way over here. So you're trying to let your shoulder be strong in both ranges.
Oh,
It's working, Mark. I'm sweating.
I know I woke up, I was like freezing, and then I just did a couple of the warm-up drills. Wasn't freezing anymore. All right, so we're moving on to the second strength part of it. If you guys have a band, it will be ideal. If not, dumbbells work too. So who doesn't have a band? Everyone have a band?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. With that, if you don't have a band, just imagine you're just using 2 dumbbells or kettlebells. So if you're at home following along, you guys are gonna just step your feet in a sumo stance. So I open up the band, I put it down, and then I'm gonna step a little wider than I would squat. It's also very important that you're stepping through the ball of your feet right here, that big toe joint, because if you are anchoring down there, it's where we want to be. Don't have the band in the middle of your foot because you're going to collapse your arch. So this movement's going to be called a sumo row, a row. So from here, I do not want you guys to push out. I just reposted a video of that Mars and Heber, you know, those video guys, and he just tore his like meniscus doing a thruster.
That was so painful to watch.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Because, you know, I love those guys, and it just like, he was just doing a regular thruster. It didn't even look like much, and it just like pop. So idea
We're
is
not talking about that, please.
we're training our hip and our knees and our VMOs to support that. So we should not be pushing out for tension. You guys are pushing down and in without collapsing your arches, without letting your knees valgus or cave in this way, okay? So you're just kind of anchoring strong here. And then for me, I have a small band, so I'm gonna hold both of them. And then when I come up to flex my butt, flex my VMO, I'm just hanging out here for a second. So right now I'm trying to flex through my butt and trying to flex through both inside quads like this, not hyperextending. So I'm not doing this. I'm trying to flex the quads, flex my glutes. And then if you guys know like the deadlift position, at the top, I'm keeping that teres flex going. So just stand there and flex for a little bit because it's important. You can come down halfway and then flex the glute, VMO, and all the teres muscles. So try that for a few. We found a way to train the deadlift with just the band. And it burns too, just like anything else. If you're holding. And if you have a super thick band, then you can just pull on one of the bands and not both of them.
Mark, you don't let the tension release all the way at the bottom, do you? You want to keep tension the whole time?
Yeah, so just go down like a quarter of the way, halfway. So this is just the setup to make sure everything's going. So if you want to work deadlifts, this is a good option. So I get to here, I sink down just about like knee level, flex everything. Come back down to here, flex everything. If you wanted to just train the deadlift portion. So what we're doing here, you guys are gonna try both. I like to, when I bend over row, I like to have my palms facing up. So I'm changing and having my palms facing towards you guys, face up. From here, I want to push my hips back a little bit further, like more of a hinge, a kettlebell swing. And then from this position, we're going to grab both bands and then we're going to row. And then I want you guys to let your shoulders slide and round forward as much as they can, like a deadlift hold. Let your lats stretch. And then I want to pull the shoulders all the way back until I'm like in a chest bump position. So again, a lot of shoulder movements. So from here, my lats are supporting this deadlift weight. And then I pull all the way back, chest up like a bench press. If you need more tension, go wider on your stance or choke, pull the bands a little bit wider like this. But you have like a whole rack of dumbbells now pretty much. Because if I go more narrow, then it's lighter tension. If I go wider, it's heavier. If I go wider on the band and feet, then it's like a 1 rep max. So I want you guys to make sure you're doing, when you have your shoulder blades round forward, your lats are stretching, but that doesn't mean you're bending at the spine. So when you guys do it, you guys are letting the shoulder blades round forward with the lats staying on. And then when you pull, shoulders back, chest up, and then back down to here. So go slow. Go real slow, let the shoulders round forward, and then squeeze into like a bench press position, chest up. And then round forward into a deadlift position, and then squeeze. So the shoulders have to move. Deadlift position, which is a rounded upper back. Round the upper back as much as you can, and then pull the shoulders back and down. Round it.
Okay, I'm done. This is too much.
Oh man.
This is just like you guys were there for the actual workout. The workout's gonna be way worse.
Ugh.
Yeah, my whole like mid back and lats are lit up right now.
It hasn't worked out, at least for me, that hard, I guess, especially with FixFit. So the session we did on Thursday, I was like, all yesterday, everything felt completely just sore in a good way, which is hard to get. So what we're gonna do is that's just like the deadlift or the sumo row. So when you see that program, pretty much you do a couple sumo deadlifts to get everything firing, and then you could change the tension by how wide your feet are and where you grab the band. So we're gonna couple this with a stiff-legged deadlift or just a hinge pattern. At first I wanted to do bird pickers, but I feel like that's gonna be too much too soon. So let's try that as a group without weight, no weight necessary. You guys are gonna keep that same position with your feet a little wider than where you would normally go, because if your hips are tight, it's gonna force you to push your knees out. So might as well start wide. You're gonna hinge back now. Hips only, knees are staying relaxed. So I go hips back to about parallel. You have to push through the inside of the feet. And then all you're doing is pushing through the feet and then flexing your butt to bring you up. So when you get to the top, it's like your bicep flexing, right? Don't just have it here and relax. It's like it gets tighter, 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 and you're squeezing. So the glutes, from here, I'm flexing, 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 and this is the max flex, where my legs are shaking, where my hamstrings are on. And you come back down, and then flex your glutes all the way up. So at the top of a kettlebell swing, a deadlift, the big part of the glutes are on. You'll know when you're firing the big part of the glute is because you'll start to feel your hamstrings kick on too. Okay? Because then if you fire the wrong part of the glute, your hips will end up looking like this. The outside of the glutes. So we don't want that. We want to flex the big part of the glute, push inward, and then the inside hammy will kick on too.
Cramping from Thursday stuff.
I know. That's a good one to repeat.
Oh my God.
So here's the full set for you guys to just dabble with it. You guys are doing 15 bent over rows in the sumo stance, letting your lats stretch, drop the band, and then you guys are doing 10 of these flexes with a hold at the top right afterwards.
Oh, are we staying in the same stance, a sumo stance?
Play around with it. If you can get more tension a little bit narrow, that's probably ideal. But either way, both are good. 15 rows, drop the band, put your feet a little closer, and then 15 of these hinges or stiff-legged deadlifts.
Knees loose though, right?
Yeah, knees are loose. But at the top of your glute flex, you're pushing your VMOs against it. I know it's a weird, I don't want to overcomplicate things, but if
Sure.
you know what I'm saying. If you're
Yeah.
flexing your glutes this way, your VMOs kind of push against it. So both of them are on.
Okay.
It's a good question. It's raining like hell outside my house right now.
I left the top off my Jeep last night.
It's not raining here at all.
Are you
It's not raining over here.
We're all in Poway.
Yeah.
It's just
I know.
over. It's just over my house, you know.
Yep.
Of
It's
course,
a sign.
Raining in San Marcos.
it is or isn't.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, just my house in Poway and San Marcos. You other people in Poway just have like sunshine.
Yep. No, clouds.
It's pouring.
Yeah,
real-
Mark. All sunshines and rainbows here.
Yeah, of course. The top of the glute flex is super important. It's the top of all of our lifts when we open up our hips. So, and this is the type of glutes that you need for running because that gets your hamstrings going. And I know I'm only talking to Patty really to sell that.
And
So again, when you get the right part of the glute, that inside hammy, it should like radiate down because they're actually working. Make sure you guys get as tall as you can with your glutes flexing. Because like where Leslie's at, like, there you go. Make sure you guys, you're not overextended, but you're trying to flex your glutes so hard to bring you like upright. Pretty much all the way upright. There you go. Because don't cheat it. A lot of people were on Thursday were doing this. They got to hear they're flexing their glutes. So we want that mobility to be all the way up here with everything on. Joan, on the way down, make sure you're pushing inward. So on the way down, don't just open the hips. Make sure you're pushing down and in. There you go. Just make sure you feel tension, like the inside of that foot when you start. Nice.
Mark,
So,
if you use your foot as a clue, are you driving through the big ball of your foot?
yeah, right before you even start. The anchor in.
Okay.
All right, then our last two finisher drills. So the first one, these are combo movements of what you already learned, so it should go by quicker. If you have like lightish dumbbells, you can use 2. If you have a heavy dumbbell, like for me, if I had a 30 only, I would just use 1 dumbbell. You can also step on the band and then have the hand under the band like that. What you're going to do is that same gymnastic flex that we worked on. Go as far as you can here to work on like that bicep strength for all the movements we do, pull-ups, push-ups. And then from here, you guys are going to keep that shoulder anchored down and curl. So from here, I keep my pec on, and then from this position, I curl, and then I slowly lower back here, like you're loading a handstand push-up, like you're lowering yourself in a pull-up. So once you're here, you curl. If you imagine there's like a wall right here, right? You can't let the elbow drop down when you curl like this. So you bring it up as high as you can, and then curl from here, and then stay in this position.
It's really bad.
Yeah. That's when you load forward, even on a push-up, when you load forward, which we're going to go over, that bicep's there to support. That tricep's there to support. It's not there to do all the work. I mean, it can, and then you have elbow and shoulder pain. Same mechanics, right? You turn the elbows down or out a little, keep that shoulder anchored in, and then you guys are curling in this range. If you start to fatigue, I played around this before. So when we do it, let's say there's a set of 10 and I just can't hold this for 10. I'm going to go for a few reps, slow on the negative, and then I can reset. Come back up.
Oh, okay.
Don't force it, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. So I want you guys to do a set of 5, just to not burn out, with your left arm and then the right arm. Obviously, if you have 1 dumbbell, then just work 10 reps. And then afterwards, then you would go for both arms. After your 5 and 5, keep the shoulders pinned down. You flex this way, and then curl. So even though this is a bis and tris finisher, your pec, your shoulders, your teres are all burning.
All these 70-pound or 70s dumbbells are too long. They hit each other.
I was like, there's no way that's 70 pounds. We can see your camera's still on. Your camera's still on. We can see it.
They're from the 70s. That's where that's Holy Spirit Animal.
I think he meant the year 1970. Wait.
So I want you guys, that's the gymnastics curl. So that's one of the variations. And then now we're going to go into the last movement, the plank lean and then the bottom push-ups. So I'm gonna drive the camera down, but I'm gonna go over the bottom of the push-up first. A lot of us, when we get to the bottom of a push-up or burpee, when we get down, I gotta get up. So when we get to the bottom of a push-up, our shoulders are rolled up this far. And then the bottom's relative, right? For us, a lot of us are stopping at 90 and the elbows, that's fine. That's our bottom. We just don't want our shoulder to come up because at home, we're doing so many burpees and push-ups and all this groundwork, handstand push-ups. At the bottom of your push-up, I want you to just keep that shoulder rolled forward, but anchor down. So everything that we've been working towards, this is what we're gonna do. So let me see if I can change that up.
It's raining here, Mark, so if that makes you feel better.
I caused it though. The bottom of the push-up, it's all relative. So instead of being shrugged up like this, see how much tension there is in the front of that shoulder? That's where people get that pull. I'm trying to keep that shoulder down like that. See, that's the adjustment. That's the FixFit for the shoulders. A lot of people feel that pain right through here. They can't, take the shirt off, or it's because this pull is so great every single burpee. So what we're doing is, in my relative bottom is here, I'm keeping my shoulders down and then just working this range, never letting this happen. So let's try that first. It might even just be in your knees, and this is your relative bottom, but I just don't want the shoulder to do this. See how my trap is on?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't feel very good, but that's where everyone's doing burpees from. So we're gonna have this relative bottom, and then you're getting a pec and tricep pump. So I'm on my knees right now. If that's what you need to do, that's great. If you can do it this way, that's fine too. But rep out a good set, like a 10, 15. But play around with the shoulder position because that's more important. The shoulder's still in, but it has to be pulled down. Don't have that shoulder back and down mentality because that's not the way the shoulder works. If you held the bottom for 1 rep, in tension like I did, and then let your shoulder dive forward, you'll feel the immediate change in where the weights go. So we don't want to be here because you can feel all the pressure right through here. And then if you pull down like a Terry's flex, then you'll feel more pec on. And that's the idea of a push-up, is to train the pec. So that's the second movement. The first movement, if you care, we're training the triceps. The tricep is meant to stabilize and straighten out your arm. So we're gonna do a plank lean. Same idea, don't do this. Don't have the elbows cranked out this way. I want you guys to crank the elbow the other way. So I'm tensing up my shoulder, the same type of concept, like this. And then you're gonna hollow out. So abs tight, glutes tight, and you're gonna rock as far forward as possible. So don't have your lower back like this. Tense everything up. And then I want you to rock as far forward with your arms straight. Because we've been programming a lot of plank leans, planches. This is the setup. From here, my elbows are rotated towards the outside now. Glutes and abs on as hard as possible. And then I rock forward. Challenging that tricep, bicep. So you want to see ideally, if your wrists are starting to get tight, you could turn your hands out like this. That's okay. But when I turn my hands out, look at my elbows. I still have to crank in. So I'm here now, hardest hollow I can hold, my abs and my glutes, and then I lean forward without bending. I want you guys to do 5 reps of that with a hold. And then after the 5th rep, you guys are doing as many push-up bottoms as you can. So that's your tricep finisher. When you guys are leaning forward, don't let that elbow bend. Keep it hollowed out. There you go, Glover. Rep it out. Go.
Oh my God.
And now you got a significant chest and tricep and bicep pump with just your body weight. And I guess for us, it's functional to movement. So the combo you'll see on Tuesday and Thursday, because you'll be guiding the group because you guys are attending. The goal is to get as far forward of a lean as possible and hold. Come back, core tight, glutes tight hold. And then after the reps we select, then you guys will just get to the bottom of your push-up here and then keep it going. I'll write it all out. You guys will have the list of movements. But that's pretty much it. And we're going to be practicing these movements on Tuesday and Thursday. And then the workout structure will be slightly different, so it's not boring. So might be more weights, more reps, more holds. Pretty good.
All right,
That's
thank
awesome.
So I'll see you guys in 10 minutes if you guys are going to do the Olympic lifting.
Hey, Mark, you're going to post this recording up?
Yeah, so in Beyond the Whiteboard, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to upload both of these, the Olympic lifting and FixFit, which is a good
Okay.
question. I uploaded on Beyond the Whiteboard as the 2 workouts of the workshops. So when you click on Saturday, you'll have it as reference. And then if
Perfect.
you guys can't make Tuesday and Thursdays because we don't have daily WODs, you know, do it with a buddy. Say like, hey, at 2 p.m., let's go do this FixFit thing, and you guys could just follow along this video again. Or, you know, just do the program because you know the movement. So review
Okay.
at one time. That way it makes it easier for everyone to have access to the coaching. And then Tuesday, Thursday, we'll have, you know, whoever wants to jump in, we're going to make sure like Leslie runs it or something or anyone else. But you'll have people here like you guys to answer questions as well.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Take care, everybody.
Stay safe.
Thanks, Mark.
Sounds